Imagine this. You're in a room with a group of people and a simple question is asked. What color is the sky? Everyone says green. You know the sky is blue, but when it's your turn to answer, you hesitate. Would you stick with what you know is true, or would you agree with the group just to avoid standing out? Now, take that scenario and expand it to the decisions you make every day. From the clothes you wear, to the music you listen to, and even the values you hold. How much of it is really you? And how much is shaped by the people around you? This is the power of peer pressure and is one of the most powerful forces in shaping who we become, especially as young people. Let me ask you this. Have you ever made a decision you weren't entirely comfortable with just because everyone else was doing it? Don't worry, we've all been there. A few months ago, everyone was talking about this trendy new drink. It was all over social media, and all my friends were raving about it. They kept saying how great it was, and soon I felt pressured to buy it just to fit in. So I bought one too, and guess what? It tasted terrible. I regretted it the moment I took the first sip, but by then, it was too late. I let the hype of everyone else's excitement push me to do something I didn't even want to do. That is proof that peer pressure doesn't happen in dramatic, obvious moments. It's much more subtle. Every time you scroll through social media and feel that pressure to look a certain way, or every time your friends are making a choice and you go along with it without questioning why, that is peer pressure in action. In fact, peer pressure is built into our DNA. We, humans, are wired to fit in. Research shows that our brains release pleasure chemicals when we conform to group norms. But here's the catch. This doesn't mean that the group is always right. Sometimes, going along with the crowd can steer us away from who we really want to be. But let's flip the script for a moment. What if I told you that peer pressure isn't all bad? That it can actually push you to grow in ways you never thought possible? Take a moment to think about a time when someone inspired you to do something good. Maybe it was a friend who encouraged you to study harder, or a group that motivated you to volunteer or stand up for a cause you believe in. This is positive peer pressure, when the people around you raise the bar and make you want to be better. Look at the power of movements like climate activism or mental health awareness. When you see your peers advocating for something important, it inspires you to take action too. It's a ripple effect. Change doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in communities driven by the influence of those around us. But here's the flip side. What happens when peer pressure pushes us in the wrong direction? When it becomes about fitting in rather than standing out for the right reasons? The pressure to conform can be overwhelming. Maybe it's something as small as wearing the right brands, or something as serious as engaging in risky behaviors because everyone else is doing it. Because the truth is, negative peer pressure often comes in disguise. It can seem harmless at first, but it can lead you to compromise your values. In a world that's constantly telling you what's cool, what's acceptable, or what success should look like, it can be hard to stay true to who you are. But conforming to fit in can sometimes cost you more than standing out. So, how do we resist? How do we build the courage to make the decisions align with who we are, rather than who others expect us to be? It starts with knowing yourself. The more you understand what matters to you, the less likely you are to be swayed by outside influences. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What do I really care about? When you have a strong sense of who you are and what you want, it becomes easier to say no when peer pressure steers you off course. Second, surround yourself with people who push you to grow. Your friends and peers are your greatest influences. So choose wisely. Be with people who challenge you to think critically, who encourage your growth, and who celebrate your authenticity, not just your conformity. Because the truth is, when you're in a group that values what you value, peer pressure turns into something that makes you stronger, not weaker. Now, here's where I want to leave you. Peer pressure is one of the most powerful forces we face, especially as young people. But it's not something to fear. Instead, it's something to harness. Be aware of its influence, but don't let it control you. Lead by example. When you stay true to yourself and your values, you become a positive force in your own peer group. Imagine the world as a canvas filled with your bright, vibrant true colors. But under peer pressure, those colors fade, becoming unrecognizable as you follow lines drawn by others. Blending in may feel easier, but it dims your unique brilliance. It's time to break free. You have the power to standard and make kindness, authenticity, and courage the new norm. So pick up your brush and paint the path with colors that reflect your true self. Because when you step out of those lines, you're not just crafting a masterpiece that's uniquely yours. You are coloring outside the lines, and that is where real freedom begins.